Start recording? Yeah. Hello everyone. This is Johnny. I'm the Cisco Intercloud Storage Service Engineer. Today I would like to talk about cloud storage. This is the agenda I'm going to go through today. First of all, why Swift and what we built and what's special in our Swift cloud and where we are in this moment. First of all, why Swift? Let me give you a little bit of background regarding what the Cisco Intercloud. Basically, we provide the infrastructure for Cisco applications. And our customer is the Cisco internal, but the Cisco application customer is external. So actually, we are providing the object storage in this moment. But the object storage is based on the Rails gateway. And we got more and more requests. The people want to ask more object storage space. Some of the use case like a big data, video recording, or database backup. And other than that, like I said, the object storage is based on the Ceph, right? And we are running a Hammer. Basically, it just only support the Swift API 1.x, and we want 99% compatible with the OpenStack Swift API 2.x. The third one, I think that would be most important for us to decide going to Swift this route is, first of all, our Ceph is, the way we are using Ceph is a little bit different from other people in the industry because actually we are running the Nova VM on top of those Ceph. So for supporting that, we actually need to buy NVMe card, put a Ceph journaling over there. Those spots are costly. So think about you wrap it around the Rails gateway and then provide a huge amount of volume, but only for the archival. It's not a good idea in that. Other than that, we have sites, right? We remove or shut it down. We have a lot of retired gears. Swift is a good idea to repurpose those gear on that. So the third one, I think that's most important for us in this moment. So we start with work with the Swift stack in the middle of the last year, and we start a project to kick off the Swift. And what we built in here, this is the evaluation diagram just for initial stages. We actually have some key component here. First one is, other than bare metal, we have a load balancer, no matter it's a software or hardware. And we have a Swift stack on-prem controller. This is Swift stack product. They only require the VM. We put it on the VMs, and we use UCS C220 as the pack node, and C240 as the object node. In the initial stage, of course, we actually testing other form factor like a C3160 has more drive over there, provide more capacity, and we have all the benchmarking results regarding that. The two rack just make sure the failure domain we can reduce most because one rack down, another rack is still up. So you see, two of them on top for each rack for pack node, and the three of them on object node on one rack. So data protect is pretty fundamental. Basically, we start with the 3 replica. But other than that, we actually test the erasure coding. We test the different fragmentation to see the output it is. We actually will provide 2 policy in the beginning for our customer. Depends on what the use case that they have. This is architecture overview. So you will see we actually design 4 major channels. The purpose that we are doing this, we want to make sure we can get the biggest bandwidth for our service. So the first one is number 1 with the red line. You can see it's connected to bare metal from our build server for Pixie boot, connect to the Swift stack controller for deployment the cluster. And of course, hook up with the OSS, which is our monitoring systems. In the second line in blue, what you see here is cluster facing, basically just connection between load balancer and the pack node. The third one highlighted in green in here is between the pack node and the object node. The last one is replication network underneath to do the replication. But I know the Swift has closed region. We are not putting into the initial status, but we will because we actually talked to the network team regarding the DCI, data center interconnections. We are putting that in a play that we will see in the coming futures. So what's special? I would say our deployment special thing is automations. I will show you that basically work with the SDLC tightly. And of course, leverage some of the Substack Python modules in their controller, wrap it around with the Ansible. So during the deployments, we can hook up with a load balancer, create a cluster, integrate with the Keystone, integrate with the monitoring. Not only the fundamental, the OSST need to be monitored, like a CPU memory utilization, but also for Swift unique daemons we want to monitor. Last is, of course, we are migrating from Rails Gateway to Swift, so we need a migration tools regarding that. So this is the automations. What you can see here is basically before start, you just prepare the YAML file. The first left-hand side, I know the character is small, just bear with me here. Basically just provide the VM profile because controller running on VM. Flavor, images, security group, what you want, put it over here. Second thing is we will install the controller on the VM, right? So what the require they need, VM has HA capability, master, slave, VM you want, and the search for the OpenVPN, etc. In the middle one, you can see this is a profile for bare metal. So what that means, we actually kickstart the bare metal using the coupler and the snippets to format the drive to make sure it's properly settings. And of course, we are using the UCS CMC C-Series Integrated Management Controller. There's an API. You actually can pixie boot on specific port against with the specific MAC address. And then you will see there's a lot of groups here. Each group tied out with a different purpose, which is Ansible role, like an OSS or create a cluster in the futures. And then you will see the 4 of the VLANs what we're seeing here because I just described. We will separate the channel to try to get the max bandwidth. The 4 one from the left, which is we abstract the setting for when we create a cluster. For example, you need a virtual IP, you need a virtual host names for your load balancer. We abstract and put in here. Of course, you will go read your inventory file to figure out what the keystones, I mean the credential and how to hook up with the basically Graphite and the Nagios. And the last one is every time we finish the deployment, we will run the unit test. And that's the YAML file for that. So we prepare that, checking the Git, review Garrett's built in Jenkins. The Substack RPM we put into the artifact, and we wrap it around with Ansible, and we trigger in the Go pipeline. So when you prepare everything, following just nice and clean. First of all, I download those YAML files on the specific site because I roll off one site to another site, another site, another site. Download all the required YAML file. Then I boot the VM. Then I install the controller. Then I kickstart the bare metal. Then I create a cluster. Finally, I run the unit test to make sure the cluster is healthy. But the testing what we have here is we actually add more because we have a bound, right? You have the ETH, for example, like a 0 and 1. If you run the unit test, you still can get the CURD still pass. You still can get your object, but you only get the half of them unless you really scan all the ETH to make sure the cable is connected properly and the switch connect properly. The VLAN tag is all set. Other than that, you will get not full throughput until you do the benchmarking to make sure everything is okay. So we add that check in our test script. This is the migrations. It's pretty straightforward. We migrate from Rails Gateway to Swift. So the left-hand side here, you see customer go get the object from Rails Gateway. But from time to time, when we finish the cluster build, we will copy the data from Rails Gateway to Swift. And after that, we said, okay, I will cut up tonight. So I will switch the endpoint to the Swift. But SwiftStack provides a good feature, which is a middleware called shunt, which is take care of the data, because we migrate, we cut off. When user requests object, it will go check the current Swift to see whether it's there or not. If it is not, go back to the Redis gateway. If we find it, what that means, that's the missing piece I have. I will make a copy in existing cluster and then provide to the customer. Last one is where we are. Actually, we did a lot of testings to make sure it's okay. Unit test is automatic already. We're actually doing some failure tests, but the self-healing is a good feature for Swift. Take up the node, take up the drive, doesn't hurt anything. And the thing we are struggling on here is we want to get the max throughput. This is the result we get currently, but I read the email last night. We actually have a new finding. Maybe we can improve that. This is the data that we get is without the load balancer, because the load balancer is always the bottleneck in our environment. Other than that will be the network. So we can get the put per client. The throughput can be the 1 gigabyte per second, the per client. The get can be 2 gigabytes. Talk about the production readiness. We finish all the proof of concept, finish all the coding, finish all the deployment script that we needed. It's already done. And the hardware, we actually, the beta side we designed 4. 1 for Europe, 3 for US. And the hardware is there, rack and stack network configuration done. The rest of the thing is what you see. Just click the Go pipeline and trigger the deployments. And one thing we still working on is, you see we have a different VLAN. Some of them tagged, some of them untagged, some of them are boundings. So it's a little bit complicated when you roll out one side to another side. You have to re-explain to the network engineers what it is. So we actually, in the process, rapid run those switch or spine configuration using the Ansible. And Cisco has a unique feature called ACI, and we are moving to that route as well. So currently, we TOR configuration using Ansible, but in the future, we will work with ACI to make that happen. That's pretty much my present today. So any questions?